Mr. Secretary, it's always a pleasure to have you before the committee. Thank you very much for your service. Let me start with an issue that Senator Menendez raised in his opening comments, and that is the capacity of the State Department to meet the challenges that we have globally. I think never in our history have we had so many global challenges in which the work of the State Department can be critically important for us achieving our objectives. Senator Hagerty and I have worked together in regards to the State Department's capacity to deal with these issues. We made several recommendations in the last Congress that were enacted into law. I know that you've been questioned on this before the Appropriations Committee, but I want to get our committee engaged on these issues as well. In that recommendations, some were more short-term changes that we thought should be made as quickly as possible, including dealing with the training capacity at the State Department by having a board of visitors, by making it a more professional educational experience, by expanding training opportunities. We thought these are proposals that could be implemented in the short term. Others were longer term issues, and that's why we recommended a commission, which is now in the process of being named. And I would like to get your understanding about how to implement these changes. They were done, I think, with full support and cooperation from the leadership at the State Department. We know you always have challenges. Part of this is going to be budgetary. For people to go into training, you have to be able to backfill those positions. That's not always available. So tell me how you think you can use the tools that we made available in the last Congress to implement these changes, and what we can do to help you moving forward.
Well, first, let me just say how much I appreciate the work that you've done on this and the leadership on it. It is hugely important to the future of the department. It's hugely important to our ability to attract but also retain the best talent. And we're in a competition for talent, and we need to make sure that we have the tools not just to recruit people, but to make sure that they stay at the department. I think a big part of that is career-long learning, because as we've been talking about in many ways, things are changing so fast that unless you're able to, as an institution, make sure that your people have the ability to continuously upgrade their game, you're not going to be able to do the job. Now, I think some of the tools, authorities, resources provided by Congress to us are making a big difference. For example, over the last couple of years, and now in our budget, I hope that will be realized this year, we've been able to hire a significantly greater number of people, both foreign service officers as well as civil servants. That has tremendous benefits, one of which, of course, is making sure that when we have gaps in places, we have the personnel to fill them. But one of the most critical, I think, initiatives we're taking is making sure that we have a significant float of personnel by which we can pull out of day in, day out service someone, put them into a training program of some kind, whether it's one that we're doing ourselves, time at an academic institution, time, by the way, here at in Congress, and do it in a way that doesn't disrupt the day in, day out activities of the department. That's a big initiative. We now have real resources to do that in ways we never had before. Second, you talked about the short term. I couldn't agree more. We just spent a morning with the Foreign Service Institute leadership on new programs they're putting in place for both incoming but also mid-career learning, particularly in areas that the department has not, in the past usually been focused on, and where we need to have critical skills and have people develop them. So you will see, and we'll share with you, I think, some very significant initiatives that are creating important opportunities for career-long learning developed by the Foreign Service Institute that we'll be actually implementing very, very soon. So there are a host of things that I think will make a real difference. I think the moving out on the Board of Visitors, on the Provost, we're doing that. We're preparing actually the position description for the Provost as we speak so that we can begin the hiring process. We're actually leveraging the results of some, I think, important assessments in terms of what we're looking for and what we need. And we're on track to have the Board of Visitors identified and recruited by the end of this year.
And in regards to the commission,
yeah.
Some were appointed by the Congress, but some are appointed by the administration. Is that advancing on the administration side?
Yes, and I think not only is it advancing, I believe that we've asked actually your respective teams for recommendations, and we really look to that. And I also believe that we actually have the resources, even within our existing authorities, to move forward on that.
Part of this in training deals with an area that I've talked about frequently with you, and that is our anti-corruption efforts.
Yeah.
President's talked about that as a national security core concern. We find that one of the resistance we get to being more active in establishing international standards on corruption is the capacity of our missions, particularly in country, to be able to evaluate and move forward on anti-corruption programs. Are you taking steps to improve the capacity at the State Department to deal with this priority area?
Yeah, we've really elevated this. As you know, we have we put in place a senior official who is charged with this responsibility. And one of the things that I've been working on, and I think it's important across the institution, is, we do a lot as an institution that is it's top down. We do some that's bottom up. Probably need to do more. Where we really need to be doing more is horizontally across the institution, by which I mean this. On anti-corruption, this needs to be embedded horizontally in all of our different bureaus, in our regional bureaus, but also as well in some of our functional bureaus. So what I've been pushing is for the senior official and his team responsible for dealing with anti-corruption to be engaged on the takeoff, not just on the landing, with different colleagues across the enterprise, so that they have the focus, and they also dedicate the time and resources within their areas of responsibility to making combating corruption one of their responsibilities. So I think we're making progress there. I'm sure we can do more, but I'm very seized with this mission because something that you've been leading on for many, many years. There are few things that are more corrosive of democratic systems than corruption.
Thank you, and thank you for your leadership.